Good morning, students. Let us now start with the next topic, evolution. What is evolution? The gradual change occurring in the living organism over a long duration is called evolution. Evolution results in the development of organisms. Transformation ranging from changes in the stars and planets to the changes in the biosphere on the earth are studied in the field of evolution. Due to evolution, there is transformation of new species. Due to natural selection, there are continuous changes in specific characters of several generations of living organisms. Approximately 3.5 billion years ago, life was not present on the earth. The living organisms have been developed according to the following phases: simple elements, organic and inorganic compounds, complex organic compounds such as proteins and nucleic acids, mixture of different types of organic and inorganic compounds, first primitive type of cells, process to take up surrounding chemicals develop leading to growth of cells in numbers, first living organism, those organisms that could adjust and adapt to the surrounding conditions, survived and grew. This is according to the principle of natural selection. Some of them could not adjust, perished. Now, next one we are going to see the diversity, ranging diversity in animals from unicellular amoeba and paramecium to giant whale and man. Ranging diversity in plants from unicellular chlorella to huge banyan tree. Existence of life on earth from equator to both the poles of the entire earth. Living organisms are seen in air, water, land, rock, etc. Theory of gradual development of living organisms is accepted worldwide. Now let us see the theory of evolution. First living material is the protoplasm, which was formed in the ocean. This gave rise to unicellular organisms in gradual time. Over the span of approximately 300 crore years, very gradual changes occurred in the unicellular organisms, which slowly evolved into larger and more complex life forms. All around and multidimensional changes occurred, which resulted in the evolution of different types of organisms. Next one, organizational evolution. The progressive development of plants and animals over a very large time is called organizational evolution. Now let us go through the definition of evolution. Development of living organisms from the ancestors having different structural and functional organization is called evolution. Evidences of evolution. Evolution is an everlasting process of changes. The proof to support this process are called evidences of evolution, which are of following types. There are 6 types of evidences we are going to study: morphological evidences, anatomical evidences, vestigial organs, paleontological evidences, connecting links, and embryological evidences. Now, let us first go through the morphological evidences. Similarities in the external and visible features are called morphological evidences. In animals, similarities in the structures such as mouth, nostrils, and ear pinna, position of the eyes, thickly distributed body, fur, or hair. In plants, similar characters such as leaf shape, leaf venation, leaf petiole, etc. These similar features indicate that origin of different animal or plant groups must be having a same common ancestor. Next, we are going to see the anatomical evidences. Human hand, cat's foreleg, flipper of whale, and patagon of bat show difference in their features. These organs also have different uses. However, the structure of bones and bony joints in organs of each of these animals show similarity. Next one, let us go through the vestigial organs. The degenerated or underdeveloped organs which cannot perform any function is called vestigial organs. Existing organs undergoes gradual changes during evolutionary process. Thus they form new tissues, organs, etc. Under certain environmental conditions, such changes are necessary. However, some structures become useless in newly changed conditions. Due to natural selection, such structures undergo degeneration and after a very long time span they vanish. Appendix may be useful for grazing, ruminating herbivores, but it is vestigial for man. The other vestigial organs in human body are tailbone, muscles of ear pinna, wisdom teeth, and body hairs. Now let us go to the paleontological evidences. Fossils are remnants of living organisms or their impressions, which are preserved deep down in the earth's surface. Various natural calamities buried organisms in this way. Fossils throw light on the evolutionary process as they offer direct evidence of evolution. Carbon dating. Now, what do you mean by carbon dating? It is a technique to understand the age of a fossil. When alive, animals and plants consume carbon continuously, but this process ends after their death. Later, their body carbon in the form of C14 undergoes continuous decaying process. C12 is not radioactive. Therefore, the ratio between C14 and C12 changes continuously. By calculating the following three aspects, the age of the fossil can be determined by knowing the time passed since the death of the plant or animal. Measurement of radioactive C14. The ratio of C14 and C12 present in the body. Uses of carbon dating. Study of paleontology. Understanding anthropology. Determining the age of human fossils and manuscripts. Calculating the age of fossils and placing them in geological time scale. Fifth one, deducing the information about other former organisms. Example, invertebrates gave rise to vertebrates gradually during evolution. William Libby developed the technique of carbon dating method, which is based upon radioactive decay of naturally occurring C14. For this contribution, he was awarded Nobel Prize in 1960. In the journal Radiocarbon, the data about the ages of materials determined is compiled and published. Next we are going to see is the connecting link. Now what do you mean by connecting link? Some organisms share morphological characters of two different groups, hence they are called connecting links. A first example we will see is the Peripatus. It shows the characters of Annelida and Arthropoda, and thus it is the connecting link between these two phyla. What are the annelid character? Segmented body, thin cuticle, and parapodia-like organs. What are the arthropod characters? Tracheal respiration and open circulatory system. Second example is duck-billed platypus. In the duck-billed platypus is the connecting link between reptiles and mammals. Reptiles' characters are egg-laying habit, scales on body, and mammalian characters are presence of mammary glands and hair. Lungfish. Lungfish is the connecting link between fishes and amphibians. Fish characters is fish-like body, and amphibian characters are respiration with lungs. The above connecting link prove that arthropods evolved from annelids, amphibians evolved from fish, and mammals evolved from reptiles. Next one we are going to see is embryological evidences. Now what do you mean by embryological evidences? All vertebrates embryos show extreme similarities during initial stages of development. These similarities disappear gradually in later development. This initial similarity indicates that there may be a common origin of all these animals. Now next we are going to see is the Darwin's theory of natural selection. Charles Darwin has collected innumerable specimens of plants and animals depending upon the observation of those specimens. He published the theory of natural selection, which preaches the survival of the fittest. He published a book titled Origin of Species. While explaining the concept, Darwin said that all the organisms reproduce prolifically. All the organisms compete with each other in a life-threatening manner. In this competition, only those organisms sustain which show the modification essential for winning the competition. However, beside this, natural selection also plays important role because nature selects only those organisms which are fit to live and rest perish. Now, let us see some of the points. Charles Darwin, he proposed the theory of natural selection. This theory is an important milestone in the study of evolution. Theory of natural selection. The survival of the fittest. It means that is, organisms which are fit for survival evolve while those that are not perish. The natural selection thus act to produce new species. Theory of natural selection is given in the book Origin of Species, which is written by Darwin. For this study of evolution, Darwin had collected and observed innumerable specimens of plants and animals. Now let us go through the important explanation of theory of natural selection. All living organisms produce prolifically. There is competition with each other or struggle for survival. Organisms that show essential modifications for survival sustain while remaining perish. Survival of the fittest and elimination of misfit is the natural selection. While adapted, sustaining organisms reproduce more such offspring and in turn produce new species having specific characters. Now let us go through the objectives of the Darwin's theory. Some more factors are responsible for evolution and not just the natural selection. Any explanation about useful and useless modification was not provided by Darwin. Causes of slow and abrupt changes was not explained by Darwin.